Long time no see. Hi everyone, hope you are well and safe in this time of great uncertainty. And before moving on, I would like to apologize for not filming any videos for a longer time. I will do my best to be more consistent with this. As you can imagine, I've had some emergency stuff to do in this crazy time. But I wasn't ignoring things on markets, I was paying attention to it, and I was doing some changes in my portfolio, which you will be able to see right now. As you can see, my portfolio grew quite a bit, mostly of course because of the funding that I have made in last few weeks. In total, my whole portfolio is worth around $28,000 right now, and around $12,000 I have in cash at this moment. So around 2/3 are invested in stocks. As you can see, I have bought some Foot Locker stocks and some Revolve stocks recently. I will explain why I have chosen those companies among all of the others which have fallen later in this video or maybe next video, but for now I would like to tell you what is my opinion about this situation in the world in terms of macroeconomy, in terms of coronavirus, and how was I actually able to be in cash before all of this happened. Because of course we all know that it is not possible to time the market, it is not possible to know when are things going to start falling apart and when are we going to have I don't know, huge growth in stocks and in the economy. So how was I able to anticipate this correction and to be in cash before all of this happened actually? Of course I will not be able to explain to you my philosophy and my approach to investing in one single video, but if you will be following my YouTube channel, and you will be able to exactly understand over time how do I make my decisions and how was I able to outperform S&P 500 in 5 times in last 6 years. So as I have already said, you cannot time the market. There is not even one person in the world which can consistently time the market and to sell before it goes down and then to buy at the bottom. What I have done and why I have sold most of my stocks before this meltdown is simply because valuations of the companies that I'm tracking and that I have evaluated were too high. I simply wasn't able to find any good opportunities in the market, and simply I was selling the stocks that I have owned and the stocks that have grew too much in short period of time. And simple on that price, it didn't make any logic to me to hold them. And I really did give my best to find new companies in which I would invest my money, but I simply couldn't find any. I did find a lot of great companies. I did find companies with great balance sheet, with great motor on their product, companies which can't be threatened so easily with competition, but their price was too big. So I simply stood with my money on my account and was waiting for a pullback on some of the companies that I am watching. I have around, 20, 30 or 40 companies that I am watching closely, and I was simply waiting for some of them to drop in price, in stock price, and after which I could evaluate if that is something that is only permanently, or maybe there is something going on with that company which will impact it on the long term, which might not be good opportunity to buy it. But it didn't come, so I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I have missed some gains in last several months. But now, as you can see on this chart, I am outperforming S&P 500 by around 12%. So my portfolio is down around 8% and S&P 500 is down more than 20%. So all of that waiting actually paid off. And again, I wasn't actually waiting for a meltdown in the market. I was simply wasn't able to find any good opportunities to invest in on the long-term basis. So at the end it actually looked like I was timing the market, but again, something like that is not possible to do. Of course, one of my main goals is to outperform S&P 500, and as you can see again, as I have already said, I'm quite happy with this chart results, even though I am down 8%. On the profit chart you can see that I have lost more than $1,000 this year. Of course, when I'm calculating this return on my investments and this loss or gain in terms of profit, I am deducting all of the money that I am transferring from my account to this brokerage account. of course, is if I would take that into this calculation, I would have huge gains, huge return on investments, but that wouldn't make any sense. So just to clarify, I am deducting all of my funding when I'm calculating my profits and my return in terms of percentage. Okay, moving on from my portfolio to markets and to situation in macroeconomy. I wanted to show you this chart, this table, which represents biggest daily changes in terms of points in Dow Jones Industrial Index. So, in history of the world, 6 biggest daily gains in terms of points and 6 biggest daily losses in terms of points happened in last several weeks. That is just showing us how much panic, uncertainty and emotions are there in the markets, and how we are still trying to make our conclusion on what's going on actually. Same goes with governments, because there are a lot of different approaches in dealing with this situation about coronavirus. Some countries are locking down everything. Some countries are trying to have a more liberal approach towards dealing with this disease, but there is rapid changing in number of people which are infected and the number of people which died from this disease, that there is no perfect answer. There is simply too much uncertainty, and you cannot calculate risk because you don't know what will be going on tomorrow, the next day and next week and next month. There is hope that things will be start normalizing in several weeks, but nobody knows what is waiting for us next month. What could happen, perhaps, is that this lockdown on the economy will start to ease in a few weeks, because we all see how big of the impact the economy had after this lockdown. Millions and millions of people have lost their jobs in the US. Similar things is happening all around the world, and focus is day by day moving from COVID-19 towards economy and unemployment rates and what are people going to eat in a few weeks if this situation keeps going on. Because no matter how much money central banks print and how much money government gives to its people cannot spend it anywhere. We will probably see huge GDP drop in second quarter, and in third, some people are saying that we might see 30% GDP drop. Of course, once things start to normalize, we will be big increase in GDP in third and or fourth quarter. It all depends when are we going to back to normal. But those are, of course, only forecasts. As you have seen, I have made few investments in Foot Locker, in Revolve, in Google. So my cash position is now at around $12,000, around third of my portfolio. What I'm waiting for now is to see what are we going to do once number of new infected people starts to drop, because it will not disappear, it will only drop. Are we going to have some kind of medicine? Are we going to start testing bigger number of people so we can isolate those who are sick faster than we are doing it right now? Or maybe some governments will lock down their country again if numbers start growing. Is it yet to come and yet to see? So that is why I am still keeping big chunk of my portfolio in cash, because we didn't solve this problem with COVID-19. We have only contained it, most of the countries. US is unfortunately still trying to do it as we speak. In the last part of the video I would like to speak about things that I have done so I could weather this type of situation, not only in financial markets but in the real economy as well. So you might as well take some value from it and maybe implement some things in your life too, if you see them beneficial. So the first thing I have done previously is to generate and to save enough cash so I am able to finance my life expenses for several months at least. Usually it is advised to have at least 3 to 12 months of your monthly expenses covered in cash on your account balance. The second thing I started doing is to diversifying my revenue streams. So I have my job, I have my bonuses based on my performance, I have my investments in stocks which gives me dividend, and I have also started this YouTube channel. Of course, my main reason for this is to give my knowledge and share my experience which I have gathered in the last 12 years to you. But if this gains some traction, I might even earn a couple of bucks by YouTube. Of course, my goal is to diversify additionally and to increase my additional revenue streams in future, so I am even better prepared for uncertainty times. But this is what I have done in last few years. What I was also working on in last few months is I was writing a business plan for my new company, which I planned to start with investor. So basically he would invest money in my project and I would be managing it and we would be sharing profits from it. Unfortunately, after this COVID-19 situation, this thing got paused, but it wasn't cancelled or something like that, it is just postponed. So hopefully that might be one of the bigger sources of revenue for me in the future. What I'm also doing is that I'm investing only the money that I will not need in at least 3 to 5 years. That is also something that I advise, because if you make a good fundamental analysis and if you choose stock with great product, with great management, with great balance sheet, it doesn't matter if stock prices drop 10, 20, 30 or even 50% in the short term, because you can know that stock price will return on previous levels, and not only that, but you will probably generate a lot of profits and dividends in the future, if of course you have done good fundamental analysis. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.